YouTube family, we're back at it again. You already know what time it is. The dopest reaction channel around. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like it. You know my video gonna go in the algorithm, help more people find my videos. You already know what time it is. Smack Boys reaction. We get smacked and we react. I hope y'all got one rolled. Hope y'all got some juice. Hope you got some chips. You already know what time it is. We got Court Cam, season 3, episode 30. I don't know what's going on, but I always love Court Cam, so.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Abrams, and
We're gonna
this
jump straight into
is
it.
Court Cam.
Call the buzzer. Call.
Oh yeah, he took the leap of faith.
You die in prison as well.
Those are harsh words.
We kick things off tonight at an arraignment in Quincy, Massachusetts, where both inside and outside of the courtroom, fists and F-bombs are flying. The 4 defendants are
I used to
Nathan
live by
Lugo,
Massachusetts
Brian
for a little
Moulton,
bit.
Devontae
By,
Thames, and
Springfield,
Allison
Massachusetts.
Deshowitz. They're charged with murder and robbery in the shooting death of 21-year-old Kyle McManus. The suspects, aged 17 to 19,
Murder and robbery.
allegedly tried to rob McManus of his marijuana in front of his house. Witnesses told police that McManus had been talking to someone in a black Jeep and was shot. Report.
See, that's the fucked up part about it. It's like you going out there, you doing dumb shit, and then you go over there, you rob somebody for some weed. That ain't worth that motherfucker losing his life. That's
By
a fact.
Lugo while hanging onto the door of the vehicle as it pulled away. He was left to die on the street. 2 witnesses recognized Deshowitz and contacted police. Even though it was Lugo who allegedly pulled the trigger,
Bro, I done rolled his blood all fucked up. Thought I did a good job.
since all 4 of the teens were in the car at the time of the
This is
shooting,
my ashtray.
they were all charged with murder.
Y'all know what time it is if y'all make ashtrays like this, man. Y'all know what time it is. Real pothead shit.
At the arraignment, the courtroom's packed with supporters from both sides, and tensions are high as the 4 plead not guilty to the
Fucking
charges
young
of murder.
dubbies.
With the formalities out of the way, a family member yells, "I love you," to one of the defendants. That's when people on both sides begin shouting, and this powder keg explodes. Police and court deputies attempt to get the brawlers out of the room before
blood
things get
got
out of
hit.
hand. But that might not be so easy. Police drag one man outside by his arms and legs.
Hold on, what's going on? Why they? Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. We going back a little bit.
Both sides begin shouting, and this powder keg explodes. Police and court deputies attempt to get the brawlers out of the room before things get out of hand.
They shaking in the
But
courtroom.
that might not be so easy. Police drag one man outside by his arms and legs. And slam him to the ground, while another's removed by a friend. As officers place a man in cuffs, he calls out to the camera. What happened?
That's the worst right there. Cause now y'all about to spend a night in jail for no motherfucking reason. Ain't no need to do all that. Know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the outcome gonna be is gonna be the outcome. You ain't got wild out in the courtroom though.
Used in his own defense.
It's on TV. You guys don't hit me. I didn't do anything. I haven't laid a glove. It's on TV right up. You're all hitting me. I didn't do a thing. I didn't do a thing. You're not.
Said they all hit me. Hold on, what's going on? Why they look like homie right here about to take a swing? Hold up. Oh nah.
Inside the
They
courtroom, emotions
wildin'.
are still running high. That's 21-year-old Barbara Bell, a friend of the victims. She's taunting friends and family of the defendants.
She want all the smoke. She like, fuck that.
Officers, meanwhile, continue to remove
Oh, it's
angry
going
members
down.
of the gallery.
They lit it there.
Things appear to be calming down, but then a female supporter of defendant Brian Moulton begins shouting.
Free Brian! Free Brian! Free Brian!
She, too, is told it's time to go. The rest of the crowd disperses, but outside, people are still fired up.
Whoa, whoa, free Brian! Free
That's what it is. You got all the news people there. That courtroom was too packed.
And remember Barbara Bell, the supporter of the victim who was taunting people inside? She's now on the street and refuses to leave quietly.
Remember my face, bitches. Remember this face. Remember my face. Remember my face.
Then
You ready to
she
go.
snaps. It's unclear who she's charging at, but Bell is immediately detained.
Lock up.
That's my sister.
He said lock up. Look, they gave her bad tries. Where I'm from, they would have been locked the motherfuckers up. Niggas would have been downstairs and booking motherfucking all type of shit.
We told you to go before. We told you to go before.
After it was all over, 5 people are arrested, including Bell and 4 male suspects. They were charged with disorderly conduct and disrupting court proceedings, both misdemeanors. Bell was released on her own recognizance, and the other 4 are held on bail of between $2,000 and $5,000. None served any
That's crazy though. They still let it out.
time. As for the murder case, the shooter, Nathan Lugo, was found guilty of second-degree murder and armed robbery and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years.
Dumbass.
Deschwitz pleaded guilty to manslaughter and other charges and was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Moulton and Thames both pled guilty to armed robbery and accessory to murder and were sentenced to 10 years in a Massachusetts.
For this? You motherfuckers did all that for this? You motherfuckers is dumb as fuck. My bad. I don't even know about water. You motherfuckers is dumb as fuck. Over some weed. Not $1 million. Not a house full of drugs. So weed, a little bit of weed.
State prison.
That's crazy. Dumbass.
Has Steve Penrose ever sent you nude photographs?
He has.
Next, we go to Newport, Kentucky, for a misconduct hearing against
Kentucky.
County Judge Dawn Gentry. She's been accused by the Judicial Conduct Commission of a dozen violations.
Yo, why her ears look like that? Hold up.
Has Steve Penrose
Why her
On
ears?
Gentry.
Why her ears? Yo, why her ears look like that?
She's been accused by the Judicial Conduct Commission of a dozen violations, including drinking alcohol in court offices, asking employees to help with her campaign during work hours, and having an inappropriate sexual relationship.
What the fuck?
Gentry, who's been a judge for 4 years, allegedly hired her former pastor, Stephen Penrose, as a case specialist because the couple were having an affair.
What?
At the hearing, Gentry appears before a judicial panel who will ultimately decide if she'll be removed from office. Several of her colleagues testify about Gentry's inappropriate behavior, which includes evidence of alcohol found in her chambers and curious sounds coming from the office where she and Penrose were supposedly working.
Dumbasses. She must have had that good, cause ain't no way in the world you about to have me jeopardize my job, shorty. Like, we could have went to the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. We could have did something. I don't know about all that. Like, on the job, like, all right, once you get away with it 1 or 2 times, third time maybe the fourth, maybe the fifth, What the fuck he was doing? Rubbing her ears? Y'all ears got me fucked up. Hold on. Y'all they bugging. She about to lose her whole career.
When Gentry's asked about her relationship with Penrose, she insists it was not sexual.
You're denying you had any sexual relationship with Mr. Penrose.
Yes, sir.
But you do admit to a close personal relationship.
Yes, sir.
Based on the photographs he sent her, the relationship could be described as very personal.
Has Steve Penrose ever sent you nude photographs?
Yes.
And were these photographs that you kept and saved in a hidden photo album on your phone?
I did.
When Gentry's asked to identify specific photos, the testimony heads into not safe for work territory.
And in the third line, there's a t-shirt, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it looks to me like it's kind of a mimicking the Mountain Dew soda drinks logo. What does that shirt say?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew me? Like D-O?
It does.
And then 3 pictures of a male penis, correct?
That's correct.
And Mr. Penrose sent you those pictures of the penis.
Yes, sir.
While continuing to deny any sexual shenanigans, Gentry concedes she made a number of bad decisions.
Will you agree with me, though, that there were beer cans and liquor bottles found in your chambers?
Yes, sir.
And you admit that having your staff do your campaign work during the workday violates the Code of Judicial Conduct?
It absolutely violates the
Move
Code
your
of Judicial
job,
Conduct.
shorty.
The commission agreed and found Judge Gentry committed 10 of the 12 ethics violations, including inappropriate sexual behavior. She was removed from office. Gentry appealed, but the Kentucky Supreme Court agreed with the panel and upheld the decision to remove the judge.
How the fuck you go, like, shorty, just move on. You gotta get a job somewhere else, do something else with yourself, and then try to maybe come back or something, but, oh my God, you gonna have to move.
Next, we take you inside the Summit County Domestic Court in Akron, Ohio. The woman seated, whose identity is not being disclosed, is found.
I ain't never in my life seen court like that. Now, I see some weird shit, but like in my life, courtrooms been like, you know, big as fuck. Multiple people could sit down up towards like, I don't know, 20, 40 people, some shit like that, whatever. That shit got a little table, all type of shit. What kind of fucking courtroom is that?
A protection order against her boyfriend, Rashad Green.
I just see some in Arizona. They had the courtroom where motherfuckers video called the judge. That shit weird too. Like, what the fuck? Automatically set up.
The third person.
So look, think about it. I'm sorry to keep pausing, but think about it. You've got to fucking pretty much FaceTime, video time your judge. Them motherfuckers don't give a fuck about what's going on in the case. They reading that shit. Next. Remand. Like, what the fuck?
See is Green's grandmother.
That shit is set up.
Who we don't see is a judge or any other member of the court. Magistrate Tracy Stoner just stepped out of the room to review warrants on the defendant. But before leaving, the woman says she told the judge she needs this protection order because she fears for her life. After a few minutes, the conversation between Green and his ex becomes tense. As you can see, he is clearly upset.
Yeah, he's
Notice as he
right.
bangs the table. Green becomes more agitated.
But you just sit there.
Finally, he erupts.
Oh!
The grandmother tries to...
Oh my God. Not only is you fucking going to jail, if I'm her, I'm suing the court. First of all, where the judge at? Second of all, where's the officer? This is domestic. I already been getting my ass whooped. That's what I would claim it if I'm shorty. I've been getting my ass whooped. Fuck is you talking about? Y'all niggas left me. Oh yeah, fuck out of here, ma. Let this nigga beat me up. Let this nigga whoop my ass in here. I'm suing the fuck out of the courtroom. This is crazy.
But is thrown to the wall.
Oh my God. Oh my
Enraged,
God.
Green catches up to his
Oh my
ex
God,
and
yeah.
begins assaulting her.
Oh, call her.
Thankfully, the judge and a bailiff are nearby.
I'm calling my motherfucking lawyer ASAP. This, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
The third person we see is Green's
Calling my
grandmother. Who we don't see is a judge
She
or
shouldn't even
any
be
other
worried
member
about
of the
pressing
court.
charges on him no more.
Magistrate Tracy
He just made me
Stoner
a
just
bag.
stepped out of the room to review warrants on the defendant.
This nigga
But
is
before
stupid
leaving,
as
the woman
fuck.
says she told the judge she needs this protection order because she fears for her life. After a few minutes, the conversation between Green and his ex becomes tense. As you can see, he is clearly upset. Notice as he bangs the table, Green becomes more agitated. Finally,
This
he
nigga is
walks.
stupid.
The grandmother tries to intercede, but is thrown to the wall.
Damn, shorty ate it.
Enraged, Green catches up to his ex and begins assaulting her.
Man, he bugging.
Thankfully, the judge and a bailiff are nearby and immediately enter the room. The grandmother tries to intervene again as the officer points his taser. The electric shock finally subdues Green. The incident leaves Judge Stoner in disbelief. The victim walks
She
away
probably ain't never
unassisted.
seen nothing like that. She probably like,
Bailiff,
I told
meanwhile,
you.
has his taser locked in on Green in case he makes a move. Another officer arrives and places Green in cuffs.
Where the fuck was he at?
The woman's treated at a local hospital and
Where's
released
this
without
from?
any serious injuries. She receives her protection order, but later sues the court for negligence. But
Let's go. That's what the fuck I would have did. But what?
the case was dismissed on the grounds that the judge, quote, did not create or increase the risk to the plaintiff. A spokesperson for the court said they would re-examine security policies and acknowledge the need for more funding for additional security. As for Green, he's charged with domestic violence and barred from having any contact with his ex-girlfriend.
That's fucked up.
He served 27 days in jail and received 2 years probation.
She ain't get the
If you
bag.
or a loved one are victims of domestic violence, please call
She didn't get
1-800-799-SAFE.
the bag. What the fuck?
Next, we're at the Cheshire County Courthouse in Keene, New Hampshire. Court is currently in recess, but there is trouble brewing in the gallery.
Your choice is take the hat off or step outside.
The judge asked this man, Bo Davis, to remove his hat or leave. Otherwise, he could be charged with contempt of court. But Davis
Bro,
refuses.
just take the hat off.
So I have force threatened upon me if I were to wear a hat.
Davis and some others seated around him are associated with a New Hampshire-based anti-government movement. They're here to support a fellow member who's the defendant in a, quote, right to travel case that's in recess. These so-called sovereign citizens claim to be pushing back against what they consider overreach in the criminal justice system. And they're not afraid to get vocal about it.
I think you misunderstood. It's the judge's authority when he comes back. If at that point he says he's in contempt, then you have the authority.
There's been an issue. Your choice is take the hat off. I'm trying to be as nice as I can. I can't. You're making threats.
After more back and forth with Davis and relentless commentary from others in the gallery,
What's the matter with you guys, huh?
the bailiff is finally done discussing the matter.
Stand up, please. Sir, treat others as you would wish to be placed. I'm being nice. Well, I'm not going to assist in my own arrest. So I don't. You should take your hands off that man. Please stand up.
A second bailiff comes to help escort Davis out, but again he refuses to
Why they look
stand.
like they work at the airport?
Assist in my own arrest. I'm not asking you to assist. Please do not hurt.
Instead of dragging Davis out of the courtroom, the bailiffs use a wheelchair. As Davis is wheeled out, the group continues to insult the bailiffs.
Ever considered like a real job? One where you don't use violence against people?
Despite their protests, the court has authority to make rules about conduct in the courtroom. So a short time later, the judge returned to the courtroom and sentenced Bo Davis to 5 days in jail for contempt of court.
Definitely wasn't worth
I didn't know you were going to take my picture. I got a haircut.
Good one. I'm glad you can make jokes.
They say I am evil and a monster. They're right.
Next, we're in Cincinnati, Ohio, for the arraignment of alleged serial killer Anthony Kirkland. The 40-year-old previously served 16 years in prison for one murder and is now charged with multiple other violent crimes, including 3 murders by strangulation he's believed to have committed after his release. In each case, he also allegedly burned the body of the victim in an attempt to conceal evidence of rape.
Mr. Kirkland, you are charged with the following offenses as contained in the indictment. Count 1, attempted rape with specifications. Count 2, aggravated murder with specifications. Count 3, aggravated robbery with specifications. Count 4, aggravated murder.
Everybody stay seated, please.
The judge has only read a few of the numerous violent charges against Kirkland when he appears to faint.
4, aggravated murder.
Everybody stay seated, please.
After he's helped back to his feet, the judge finishes reading all 12 counts related to the murders of a woman, 2 teenage girls in the Cincinnati area.
Mr. Kirkland, this is a death penalty case. What is the defendant's plea?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
But before Kirkland's trial begins, he's charged with another murder. This time a 25-year-old woman.
Anthony Kirkland is, in fact, a vicious serial killer.
During the trial, Kirkland does not take the stand, but his own words are still used against him when the prosecution plays portions of his recorded police interview describing the attacks.
How did you hurt her? Did you knock her out?
With Kirkland's own admission of guilt in the audio tapes, the jury ultimately finds him guilty on all charges. Facing the death penalty, Kirkland finally takes the stand during the sentencing phase of the trial.
I cannot believe how horrible I am. They say I am evil and a monster. They're right. Ever since I was little, everyone said I was bad. Even my mom hated me, but I don't blame her. I even hated me. I do not blame you if you kill me. I don't deserve to live, but please spare my life.
Kirkland's fate is now in the hands of the jury.
We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn, unanimously recommend that the sentence of death should be imposed upon Anthony Kirkland.
The trial of serial killer Anthony Kirkland appears to be over. But 6 years later, the Ohio Supreme Court would overturn his death sentence due to prejudicial remarks made by the prosecution during his sentencing. Kirkland was granted a resentencing trial, where he once again pleads for mercy.
I do not deserve to live, but please spare my life.
And once again, his life is left in the jury's hands.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the sentence of death should be imposed upon Anthony Kirkland.
The judge would uphold the recommended sentence. Anthony Kirkland currently sits on Ohio's death row for the 4 murders he committed. Next up, we head to a traffic court proceeding in Sacramento, California. The court clerk is waiting on the defendant, Scott Green, who's appearing today for speeding and license tag violations. There he is.
Hello? Oh, Mr. Green? Yes.
Yes, defendant Green is also Dr. Scott Green, a plastic surgeon.
Hi.
Are you available for trial? It kind of looks like you're in an operating room right now.
I am, sir. I'm in the operating room. Yes, I'm available for trial. Go right ahead.
Okay, let me just briefly advise you that the proceedings right now, they are being live streamed on YouTube. That's because traffic trials are...
Bro. He's in the middle of an operation and what
by
the
law
fuck
to be
is
open to
going
the
on?
public. Since we're limiting physical access to the courtroom right now, that's how we're making them open to the public, okay?
Okay.
Streaming or not, Dr. Green is ready to go. The good doctor is sworn in and continues to multitask as he waits for Court Commissioner Gary Link to get things started.
So, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Officer Monroe, Mr. Green. So, unless I'm mistaken, I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Link seems a bit concerned about Dr. Green's setting and his ability to continue the hearing while performing a facelift on a patient.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial, notwithstanding the fact that the officer's here today.
Sir, I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate. I think I'm going to come up with a different date when you're not actively involved or participating in attending to the needs of a patient.
Looks like Dr. Green's plan isn't going over so well with the court.
I apologize, Your Honor, to the court. Sometimes surgery doesn't always go as...
The court, you know, it happens. We want to keep people healthy. We want to keep them alive. That's important.
Yo, he's crazy.
Thank you. Okay, you're both free to go now.
Although the Zoom received plenty of attention from the media, the original court business was resolved when Dr. Green paid his fines just a few days later. That's it for this edition of Court Cam.
Yo, he's crazy. You already know what time it is, man. Smack Boy's reaction. We're going to holler at you at another reaction. I'm out.